Hello, everyone. To all our listeners, of course, and our audiences listening all around the world, welcome to yet another podcast of the 1% Club. This is your host, Savera, and today I'm actually very excited to talk about one of the most least conversations that we have. And this is, of course, about identity. Before we get into anything today, I want to hold up a mirror, not to what you're building, not to your strategy or your content or your positioning, none of that. It's to the person behind it, to you. Because I think there's a conversation that most of us in this space are overdue for. One that doesn't trend, one that doesn't get saved or shared as much as the how I grew into 10,000 followers in 30 days, or how I made my first $100,000 in 2 weeks kind of posts. But this is a conversation that matters infinitely more. Identity. Who you actually are before you decide what you build. Or vice versa. Everyone is chasing the right strategy, and I get it. Strategy. I've been there. You all have been there. Post this, don't post that. Grow this way, don't grow this that way. Try this, say that. No, don't say that. But strategy is a vehicle. And the vehicle will only take you as far as the person who is steering it. What you build will never outgrow who you are. So today is not a day for a comfortable conversation. No, not at all. We're not going to be having comfortable conversations with our panel of speakers right here with us. It's a necessary one. And of course, without any further delay, let's delve right into it. Hello to you, Mr. Jose. How are you doing today?
Greetings from Angola. All good at my end, Miss Savera.
Fantastic. And what about Nigeria? How is Nigeria today, Ms. Nahima? All good?
All good at my end, and thank you for having me on this podcast. I'm happy to be here.
Lovely to have you here. Looking forward, of course, to have a great interaction with you. And let's move to Kenya. Hopefully not such hot weather today on your side, Miss Lauzi. How are you?
I'm doing great, Miss Awira. Greetings from Kenya, my side of Kenya. It's super hot here, but what to do? We're surviving.
I'm not far off from you. I feel that being in the same country as you. So good to have you, Miss Lauzi. And finally, let's go to Zambia. Miss Memory, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Miss Owela? And I hope my fellow panel are doing well.
I'm good. I believe the panel is also doing well. We've taken a lot of energy, just a few seconds from each and every one. But of course, on my end, Miss Memory, I'm doing very well, and I'm very, very set for our conversations today. So good to have you here. All right. So since we are here not for a comfortable conversation like I had mentioned earlier, but of course more to do with identity, I think we can begin on a very, very honest note when it comes to identity. So, Ms. Nahima, I would like to ask you firstly, and be honest, have you ever hidden behind planning because your identity wasn't ready?
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Ora, for asking that. Honestly, yes, I have. And I believe, majority of people have also done that. But for me personally, I tend to hide behind that aspect of planning a lot, before I bring out my identity. But along the way, I later realized that it's not just about planning. it's a process of me putting myself out there and just growing along. So that realization, which I have seen for myself, is something I have been holding on to now. But in the past, I have, I've done that, planning a lot, but eventually, waiting behind for me to be ready to be able to achieve that certain aspect of results for myself. But because I think like, what will people think? I'm not confident enough. But eventually, I later realized that it's not about what people think about me, but it's more about, just trying a bit, and putting myself out there before I can be able to reach that. Because it is a process, it is a working process when it comes to the aspect of identity. It's a continuous improvement in myself. So thank you for that.
Right. I felt that was very honest. Thank you for answering that way. And let's take this question to Angola right now. Mr. Jose, would you agree? I mean, you do have to be honest as well. Have you ever hidden behind planning your identity, before, if it wasn't ready?
Yes, as my colleague has said previously, yes, I have, because, there were moments I told myself I was just, preparing. But deep down, what happened is that I was avoiding stepping out, because planning seemed to be safer at that stage. And it made me feel productive without actually, exposing myself to the risk or to people's judgment or any kind of failure, But what I've learned from that is that clarity does not come before action, okay? It comes through action. At some point, you have to move, even if you don't feel 100% confident, even if you don't feel 100% ready. Because at the end of the day, it's in the doing that your identity start to catch up your vision.
Your identity begins to catch up with you. It's a lovely quote. And of course, I'm sure many of our listeners, our audience would be able to relate. So I'd like to ask you, Ms. Lauzi, and this is a bit of a different question. If I took away, your current strategy today, because today's, podcast is about identity and strategy, somehow related. So if I took away your current strategy today, what would still remain of you?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sawira. First of all, I don't think my strategy can be taken away from me because my identity is my strategy. Who I am today is what makes me do what I do every day. That's what gives me the identity. So as long as I'm still myself, my identity will always be there. So identity comes before the action. So if you take the identity, then maybe you will take me with it. If you don't take me with it, then you cannot distort my identity.
That feels so polished. I feel like I want to say something there, but you've actually left me a bit stunned, Ms. Lauzi. So let me just go to Zambia right now. Ms. Memory, I'll put the same question to you. I don't know how different, of course, or how, relatable you find this with what Ms. Lauzi has said. But if I took away your current strategy today, what would still remain of you?
Right. Thank you so much, Ms. Sawela. Yeah, this is a wonderful question, I would say. Yes. So regarding that, I would say for myself, identity, I would say that is what defines who I am. That is encompassing of discipline, encompassing of being resilient when you get to have in hard times. And then apart from that, we get to talk about the belief system, I would say. So all those things identify who I am. And when you talk about strategies, it's something that can be created. I can plan for it and I can do whatever it takes. to be part of that, to make new strategies for myself, I would say. But for those, the discipline, the belief system that I have, and the resilience, you cannot take them away from me. And so when you take away the strategies, I'm sure they can be rebuilt, I would say. Yes, because I do have those values in me, and that is what define me. Yes, and thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. So I'll stay on you for my next question. I do like some of the things you've mentioned. Very, very interesting for the conversation. Nessun's mentioned that there are some things that cannot be taken away, right? So if I'm to put this to you, what is that one identity, you're trying to claim? Because we have different, facets to ourselves. We just can't be one person all the time, in different areas of life. So basically, what's that one identity that you're trying to claim that your habits don't support yet?
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Mo. Yes, so when it comes to the identity that I'm claiming right now, I'm fighting to be a disciplined leader, I would say. So in as much as I would say I have some components of leadership, but I'm yet to reach the level where I would say, like, this is it. This is where I've been wanting to be, I would say. Yes, so that's one of the things that I'm trying right now to claim, that the leadership discipline. Yes.
Leadership was very important for an entrepreneur. All right, Ms. Mamari, I will take this question out of your court and I will bring it to Nigeria. Ms. Nahima, what would you say? What is that one identity you're trying to claim that your habits don't fully support yet?
So for me, one identity I'm trying to claim at this point in time, it's my level of being consistent. All right. And, being consistent does not really mean, about me showing up on a daily basis. Because from my perspective, showing up is quite different a bit from being consistent. And along the way of my showing up, then definitely I can be able to build that habit. I'm not there yet. And that is something that, as regardless of how inconsistent I am in some other activities, what keep me going is that value which I have in me, in terms of my identity, in terms of, regardless of either this is perfect or not, I just need to show up. I just need to do the work and not just wait till that aspect of perfectionism. So for me, that's a bit of being consistent, because I want to be consistent in all areas, but it's something that is, it is something that is definitely, something I'm dragging away from, but also I'm aware of it. I am definitely aware of this, and that is what makes me, keep revolving, keep improving on myself on a daily basis. So I believe showing up on a daily basis, doing that small action can definitely get me to that habit I'm looking at.
All right. What I really love is when you were struggling with the answer, in a way, you're trying to come to terms with that you actually struggle. And that's the thing, most of us, we don't like to admit it. You just came this close, but then you were like, no, I want to say it in this way, in that way. But it's a good thing. I mean, we're trying to bring out the sides of the conversation that many people are not ready to have. It's a very, very universal truth. Like I said, few people understand it, but even fewer talk about it. But Ms. Nahima, I think you made it, all the more interesting. Now, speaking of interesting, previously, Ms. Lauzi, you gave a very, very, should I say, stunning answer to me. I would like to, of course, know from you, what's something about you that would collapse if you became more visible, according to you?
If I become more visible today, obviously that will force me to do some things differently. And it will force me to be a lot more consistent. Because, you know, when I'm not visible, then I can hide behind my excuses, have all the lagging behaviors that I can have because who is watching? I perceive that. But the moment I become visible, then that's a challenge to me as well. So I feel like it will force me to be very consistent, to know exactly what I'm doing, to be very intentional in whatever I do on a daily basis. So it will have to remove a lot of procrastination. It will have to remove a lot of self-doubt. So I'll have to trust a lot of things I do. And even if I don't trust them, then I have to move regardless.
Interesting. So, Mr. Jose, would you agree to what she has said? And of course, what is your take on this? Personally speaking, what's something about you that, you know, would collapse if you became more visible in your own perspective? I'd like you to challenge what Ms. Lauzi has said. If you could do that. Answer this, challenge her.
But I'd like to put it on my own perspective because I think it would be more, you know, effective once I do that. Because at my end, I think that, so what would collapse me maybe is that that illusion that I need to be complete before I show up, you know? Because what exposes you is actually the visibility. It shows your gaps, your mistakes, your learning process at the end of the day. And look at myself, for a long time, part of me just wanted to show up when things are sharpened or prepared, you know? And when I'm sure, when I'm ready, or when I don't want to be questioned, you know? But the real truth is that the moment you step into visibility, you cannot hide yourself behind perfection anymore, all right? Because you are on the spot and you need to appear, you need to show up, and you need to move forward. That's my take.
Okay. And this is why I'd like to start my next question through you, because you've mentioned something which is very relatable that has come to mind. What's more dangerous, Mr. Jose? Building too early or waiting too long to become?
All right. For me, waiting too long to become is more dangerous. Okay? Because if you are building too early, you will make mistakes, definitely. You know, you will need to adjust. You may even start in the wrong direction, but you will learn and you will grow into that, you know. But waiting too long, that's where doubts start growing, you know. You start thinking a lot, you keep preparing, you keep telling yourself, one more step, one more step, one more step, and then you decide to start. And before you know that, you can be delaying the things that you would be, you know, doing to help yourself to become ready, you know. And as conclusion on that question, for me, it's better to start building early and correct the mistakes along the way.
Correct the mistakes along the way. All right. So, Ms. Memory, what would you say about this? You know, what is more dangerous according to you? Is it about building something too early or waiting too long to become?
All right, Ms. Sowela, thank you for the question. So, from my perspective, I would say, like building too early, for me, I think it's much better, which means waiting for so long to build. That is more dangerous in the sense that when you start early, there are some rooms, as Ms. Jose said, or making mistakes and then like. That's why most of the time they say when you're still young, that's the time to experiment and make as many mistakes as you can than when you are old. Because when you're old, you'll be working toward the deadlines. So for me, basically, I would encourage someone, like better you start, make as many mistakes as you can so that along the way you are able to remain them and make sure you work on them as much as you can because you do have that room for improvement. Yes. So that is my take on that one.
All right. Room for improvement. A very important point to note, of course.
Yes.
So taking that a bit forward, let's come to Kenya. Ms. Lauzi, this is for you. Ms. Memory spoke about room for improvement. People obviously try to improve on themselves. But can someone build a powerful brand if they have a weak identity? And according to you, what is a weak identity?
All right. So I do believe when you're starting, your brand, your identity is a bit weak because you know who you want to be, but you're not there yet. So your identity is not as strong. You're still building it. So yes, you can build a brand with a weak identity because you have to start from somewhere. So as the brand gets stronger, then the identity also becomes stronger. You now know exactly what you need to do to be able to make a stronger brand. And it's a growing process as well. So having a weak identity is not a reason to not start. Just start with a weak identity and build on it as you move. It's very possible to do that.
Possible to do that. And of course, possibilities in today's world, as we have known and seen, are endless. So Ms. Nahima, coming to you, what would you say? Can someone build a powerful brand with a weak identity? And according to you, what is a weak identity?
All right. So according to me, a weak identity is just, starting from imperfection. But, when you decide not to grow, that is a weak identity. You know that you are looking to get somewhere, just as, my colleague has mentioned, but you're not improving yourself. So I would say yes, and I will also say no. In this space, when one starts with a weak identity, one has to also be aware that for me to be able to reach that space of perfectionism or, that aspect of where you're heading to, you have to, improve yourself. Because when one starts with that weak identity, but you do not improve yourself, that will just last for a shorter period of time. So you can start, but if you're not developing yourself, because, it's a process of growth, it's a process of development. But if you're not growing, you just fall back to zero. So it will now be impossible for you to build that, that brand you're looking at. So it is in two ways for me. Yes, you can, but if you're not consistent enough, you fall back to the space of having that weak identity. So that is just what I will say on these two aspects.
All right, fair enough. But I won't let you go so soon. You've said something very important. So answer my next question, Ms. Nahima. What's that one identity shift that you have seen, or you have experienced, but no one talks about it?
So one identity that people are not talking about, which has really, changed the way of how I think or how I see things, is more about, I think, self-belief. Yes, self-belief in myself. And this is something, this is something I myself has experienced in my journey. I tend to rely on that space of, at this point in time, I need to really understand about myself better. Yes, because when I am looking at that factor of waiting or, staying long, it's impossible. So it just starts with myself. And that is, when we are looking at this particular aspect in life, anything which we want to do start from inside, right? It starts from within. You need to really work on yourself. You need to believe in yourself, because no one can do that for you. If you are now relying on that external factor, for us to be able to get where we are, then we'll keep waiting. So for me, one thing I take control of, along the way was I realized that for me to be able to get where I'm going, build that identity for myself, is just believing in myself. Believing in myself, doing it, and along the way, it gets better and better and better, and it keeps going better, because it is a continuous process. It is a continuous process. I'm not yet there, but it is a continuous process. So that is that, Ms. Sawera.
Okay, Ms. Nehima, well understood. And I can see some of your colleagues right here. Some are reflecting, some are smiling. So let me go and put this question forward to the person who has been smiling the most. I don't know why, but I'd like to know, Mr. Jose, what's your take on this? What is that one identity shift that you've experienced or had, but no one is really talking about it? Tell us.
All right. So for me, the biggest identity shift was learning to be patient. And honestly speaking, people do not talk about that much about this stuff of being patient, Let's look at myself before. I wanted everything to happen fast, first result, first clarity, first success. If something didn't move quickly, I assumed that something would be wrong, or it was not working, all right? But over time, what I realized is that growth does not move at my speed. It moves at the speed of the process, okay? So for me, patience changed the way I see everything. It helped me to stop forcing outcomes and start respecting the timing, It also helped me to stay consistent even when I don't see, immediate results. This is what I can say. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for some wonderful insights. Love them. And we're speaking about, qualities. We're speaking about self-belief. We're speaking about consistency. We're speaking about being passionate, basically. So all of this requires work, right? It's part of who we become. Now, Ms. Lauzi, I'll come to you with this next question, and do share with us, what is it, that one thing that people overestimate about identity work, according to you?
Thank you, Ms. Sawera, for the question. So I think most people overestimate the amount of time or the power that the identity shift has itself. So people think that it's something very easy to do. So they overestimate the amount of effort or the amount of productivity or the amount of change that they will see in a very short span of time, not realizing that identity shift is like challenging your programming. So changing your programming is not something easy, and it's not something that will happen overnight. So you need to stop over thinking too much that maybe this thing will happen so fast. I will get my desired outcome so fast, because it's a process. It does take time. Changing your identity is not the easiest thing to do. Changing your programming is not the easiest thing to do. So we need to stop over hyping what we expect to get from it. Process, one day at a time.
One day at a time. All right. Thank you, Ms. Lauzi, for that. Now, Ms. Memory, this comes, of course, to you as a question, similar to what, I've asked Ms. Lauzi. What's that one thing that people, overestimate about identity work?
So based on that one, my take is that most of the time, including me, I would say we get to have full clarity on getting the identity, thinking that we have to have everything figured out before we can begin. And we forget that even the people whom we admire as have built that brand on themselves, they continue to revolve around. And because of us who are beginners, say you feel like I am a beginner and I feel I need perfectionist before I start. I need to have full clarity about my niche and everything before I begin. So based on that one, basically I would say I was constantly trying to figure it out where exactly should be, which my niche and everything. But I get to figure it out, I don't need everything to figure it out. One, because sometimes I think that my interest is in this one, but basically what I do and the things I'm doing, it's contrary to what I'm trying to build. So basically clarity comes later when you've already started, because we do know, I believe that identity do evolve. Yes, so that is my take on that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Memory. Really appreciated. Not just yours, but of course, all four of your perspectives towards a lot of things which we know and of course now truly understand moving forward. When it comes to identity, when it comes to building, basically we cannot really separate the two. One is a product of the other. So I think that has been, a big boost in terms of what we've learned from each and every one of you today. Thank you so much for your valuable time, partners. Thank you. So before we end, my dear listeners and audiences around the world, there's something I'd like to put forward to you, for you. If the conversation you heard today made you uncomfortable, made you reflect, or even moved you for that matter, good. Because most people are trying to upgrade their strategy without upgrading themselves. And that is what makes all the difference. So as we bring this particular podcast to a close, tell us in the comment section right there, who are you? What are you building, in all honesty? And of course, if you can, describe yourself in few words. Until we meet again, this is your host, Severa from the 1% Club, of course, signing off yet with another podcast. So do have a wonderful day ahead of yourselves, everyone. Do take care.